Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Mars Retrograde Transit series, the collective and oracle reading, and this is happening in the signs of Leo and Cancer. In part 1, broke down these cards, also pulled some tarot, and this was for the overall themes of Mars retrograding in Leo, then Mars retrograding in Cancer. In this reading, we're going to be doing the direct motion Cancer, Leo, and the overall themes of the whole retrograde combined. Hello and welcome. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and as you just heard and saw, I channel multidimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. All of this brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that want to come through in these readings. I am recording this on the 6th of December in 12 hours time. Mars will be going retrograde here in the UK at 11:33 p.m. A lot of you, it's going to be happening on the 7th. Friday, today, the 6th, is Venus's day. So for the Americas and from GMT 0, you're going to be influenced by the Venusian qualities for the Leo section of the retrograde, and for the rest of the world it's going to be more Saturnian in nature because Saturn rules Saturday. In part 1 I break down Mars in a retrograde, retrogrades in general, the themes, as I said, of the Leo energy and how that's influencing it, and then the Cancer energy. They're ruled by the sun and the moon. This is a very personal Mars retrograde, where we're here to observe our instincts, our motivation and drive, to see where there may be issues within that come from trauma responses and limiting beliefs, whether that's collective conditioning, social conforming, or your personal relationships throughout the years. Overall, Mars is really helping recalibrate our instincts to get up and go. It may bring up conflict, drama, frustration, the desire to win at all costs. Kicking off, right? What was the phrase that I want to say? I want to say blowing off steam, but in an unhealthy way, perhaps, but also in a healthy way, like just reflecting on why did I want to yell at that person? Like what's at the root of that? Mars is going to be opposite Pluto for both the Leo transit and the beginning of the Cancer opposite Pluto. Did I say Pluto or did I say Leo? Opposite and the beginning of the Cancer transit. And Mars opposite Pluto is about a recalibration around distorted power dynamics, right? Control, possession, obsession, right? Where do we exert our power, our misuse of power? Where is that being exerted over us? And right, really finding a clarity of universal truth in our outward yang energy of Mars in Leo and our inner yin energy of Mars in Cancer. Now, in this reading, I am going to be breaking down the astrology on the day, on the moment Mars moves into direct motion in Cancer, and then on the exact moment when it moves back into Leo, and that's significant because that energy then imprints on the rest of that transit, right? And so we can get a flavor of how to work with the energy. What are the themes behind it? What are the intentions? So let us begin. I'm going to be pulling some tarot cards while I talk about the astrology that will go hand in hand with the oracle cards. So, Mars goes direct in Cancer, at 17 degrees exactly, right? So it's pretty powerful that it's just at the exact degree. And this is happening on the 23rd 23rd or the 24th of February, depending on where you live. Predominantly for the Americas, it'll be the 23rd. Here in the UK, it's happening at 1:59 a.m. on the 24th. So for the rest of the world, predominantly it's going to be on the 24th. And this is when we start to see things starting to move forward, right? I see retrogrades as a very yin energy. It's the observer mode. It's cultivating. It's bringing nuance and depth to things because you're going back over the old territory, right? So you're really refining the area that this Mars retrograde is happening in. And then when it goes direct, it's got all of that wisdom in that you're then outward action. So on the day that Mars goes direct in the sign of Cancer, it is opposite the moon, and the moon obviously rules Cancer, and the moon is over in Capricorn, and so the moon is influencing Mars during its journey in Cancer, our emotional body, our intuition, whether our needs are being met or not, how do we give and receive nourishment, our ebb and flow, and it's over in Capricorn, and Capricorn is all about the longer term plan, putting in that hard work, right? It's ruled by Saturn. There's an element of tradition about Capricorn. It is the mountain. So it is this sense of the ecosystem in which we existed in terms of the bigger earth energy. And the moon in Capricorn can be very focused on the longer term plan and not necessarily the emotional response that we're having in the moment. So what I really like is this moon that's influencing Mars, that's helping us think long term intuitively, that's influencing Mars as it then moves forward, right? Or rather the hypersensitivity, the worry, the anxiety of Mars being in the sign of Cancer, which is your personal connection to your emotional body. Very psychic. That influence with the Mars, with the moon on Mars, is really helping Mars as it goes forward into new territory, right? As it, with all the wisdom that it's learned from the retrograde, to really be able to through your actions and your deeds to be in alignment with the longer term plan, with how you're feeling in the moment, right? What your intuition is telling you, right? In terms of how to then take action and how to solve problems, and then be very sort of motivated and have a drive that is both in the present moment with that Cancer energy and this desire to nurture and nourish, as well as with that moon influencing it, of what you're doing in the moment is serving you for the long term. So that's pretty significant. And so the moon is being ruled by Saturn, because Saturn rules Capricorn, and so Saturn is influencing the moon, and Saturn is over in Pisces and is conjunct Mercury, and they both happen to be trine Mars. Trine is an aspect of Jupiter. It brings things together in order to elevate, to inspire, to evolve, bring a greater level of wisdom, of knowing. It's the bigger picture energy. And with that knowing brings a confidence, and that's where we get the ease of flow of energy, the abundance, the luck, the opportunities. And so Mars is doing that with Mercury, and they are trying each other by degree. And Saturn. So Saturn and Mercury combined in Pisces. Well, this is a serious thought processes, serious conversation, serious way, we're maturing. Saturn's very mature. It's about our integrity and our commitment to our legacy. Yes, it can bring about restrictions and certain Saturnian knocking things down and impinging on our own authority in order to establish a stronger sense of integrity, right? That's the main aim of Saturn. Saturn makes things real. It is the last visible planet to the naked eye. Sometimes we see Uranus. It's very, very rare, but it's a sense of the boundary between the unseen and the seen, the capacity of bringing the unseen into the 3D realm. Saturn is about longer term cycles. It's a 30-year cycle around the zodiac, so it is about establishing foundations that will serve us in the long term. And Saturn in Pisces for me is about making the magical reality real. For our capacity to build and work in non-linear ways, non-rational ways, you know, the miracles, right? Things appearing out of thin air, right? Pisces is very sort of the undulating energy of piecing things together that don't have like A to B to C energy, right? So really allowing us to connect the dots in the great ocean of consciousness, right? So Saturn is facilitating Mars, adding a more spiritual level to the Mars's journey, adding more of that magic, that capacity to understand your motivation and drive from a more mature perspective. It's not about not having fun, but it's that sense of balance between being the adult in the room for yourself as you move forward, as you take those actions, as you're not losing your head over things, over sort of the sort of instinctive trauma, emotional responses. Saturn's really strengthening our capacity to see beyond that, and Mercury is facilitating that in terms of how we're perceiving things with more empathy and compassion of that Pisces energy. We're able to perceive and see and collect the synchronicities, collect the clues from source, and that's feeding into our perspectives. It's allowing our motivation and drive and action, how we build Mars. Ooh, look at that, to build in ways that really serve us for the long term in regards to integrating that magical reality and that compassion and that empathy of Pisces. This is a great energy of getting the plan together and being able to implement it. And they are all trining. So we've got Mars, Mercury and Saturn trining Vesta over in Scorpio. Now Vesta is an asteroid. She is all about devotion and ritual and dedication. She represents the inner flame, right? The inner hearth, the home. The light that we have in the home, right? And the light that we have within us. She also represents soul contracts and returning to the purity of our inherent soul contract. So we have a grand water trine going on here, and we actually have what's called a kite formation when we bring the moon in, and the release point of a kite is the tail of the kite, and where that is Mars. So we have this real strengthening of our fixed water body, our capacity to see in the darkness and find the truth, the intensity, the loyalty of Scorpio coming together with that Vesta energy of a real devotion to our path, to the truth within us, combined with the magical reality of Pisces, being established in our ability to perceive the plan and then act on it. All in alignment with our intuition of nourishing ourselves and bringing and meeting our needs that serve our long-term goals. So big water energy being activated. And by this point, the North Node is going to be in Pisces. So we're adding on that North Node energy. It's 10 degrees away from being in an exact trine with Mars, but it's still floating around. The Sun will also be in Pisces, as will the asteroid Ceres. And all of this is influencing Mars because it's influencing the Moon. So we have a massive Pisces contingent, a stellium going on, the vision, the clarity, the undulating, the poet within us, the capacity to see the magic and perceive it and flow with it. And that sort of more open way that takes us out of the personal responses that we have. We're doing 4 cards with 1 card at the bottom of the deck. So final card. Woo! There we go. King of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and the 5 of Pentacles was there, so helping put that in reverse. So how we're working with this direct motion. I think that's everything that I wanted to say in terms of astrology. As I said, we're big water energy. So this is really tapping into your emotional body, your imagination, your creativity, your flow state. No. So we have the Six of Swords and then the Seven of Swords that came out. So that's pretty fluky in and of itself. And this is the awareness, because right, so Mars won't leave the whole retrograde cycle until I think it's May. Yeah, 2nd of May. So even though it's going direct, it's still learning, it's still applying everything that it's learned in its retrograde. We haven't entered into the new cycle until the 2nd of May. And so we've got the Six of Swords, and the Six of Swords is all this acknowledgement that we've been in troubled waters and we are now moving into calmer waters. We're moving into a land where we are able to thrive rather than be in survival mechanism. And this is about the cultivation and figuring out what core perspectives are going to serve you to thrive. What core perspectives are you then going to act on in the new land? So this is really interesting with that Mercury energy trining Mars, of the way that we perceive and how it influences how we take action. And Pisces is traditionally ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter's over in Gemini, and Gemini's ruled by Mercury. So we've got a feedback loop between Mercury and Jupiter, who are ruling the overall energy of Mars. So this is we had this with the Sagittarius new moon that we just had. That energy was very much tied in to what's going on with the Leo transit as well. So we've got this real focal point on perspective and the higher, bigger picture, and how we engage with information in the world that affects our motivation and drive. And so with this Mars, as it's moving through Cancer, this is about really honing in on the energy of the perspectives that will help us thrive, that Mars can then put into action. It's then followed by the Seven of Swords. I love the Seven of Swords. It's the color of the sun, and it's stealing away the Five of Swords. You see, it's got carrying away 5 swords and leaving the 2. Right? And so the Five of Swords, very much about domination and subjugation, so power dynamics that don't serve us, right? The winning at what cost. In the Five of Swords, they've won the Three of Swords, which is all about heartbreak and sort of your heart not being able to operate in its fullest form, right? It's about the bully and the victim mentality and the cycle that we trap ourselves in by being both of those things. And so this figure is stealing that away. It's about thinking differently, thinking beyond that conflict mode, and it's leaving the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is the Moon in Libra card, and it came through for I think it was every sign actually. I didn't go back and check, but almost every sign in the Sagittarius new moon. As I said, that energy is a similar frequency that's locked into the beginning of this retrograde in Leo. And the Two of Swords is saying that you've got to the new land, right? You've traveled from your homeland to the new land. So you've arrived at the other side, and now you're contemplating everything that you've learned, who you were before, what you learned on your journey, and who you want to be now. And it's about going inward and really trusting in your intuition, of your bringing forward your inner equilibrium, your inner balance, for you to then embody truly who you want to be in the new realm. So the journey of Mars is calling us to reflect on these things of how do we want to move through the world? Where do we want to get our motivation and drive from, and how to sort of reorientate everything that we've learned and feed it into as we move forward and take action. And then we've got a lot of pentacles. We've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles knows what they need to do in order to bring about a holistic life. Happy work, happy home. They know when to say no to things. They know when to prioritize what it is that they're doing over the needs of others, and not in a way that does them or the people around them a disservice. Simply the capacity to understand your own path and your own direction. I'm just having to pause because I've got a tickle coming up in my throat. Sorry about that. That hasn't happened for ages. I was going through a phase of doing a lot of collective readings and always needing to sort of clear my throat. So some throat chakra energy is being moved out. very in alignment with these sword energies, right? Sort of how we communicate our own truth and understand our own truth. I just feel like Mars is going to be very much more in a light. You're going to notice the way that you move through the world. That's going to be more in alignment with your emotional body and the truth of that, and the resonance of it. Remember, we've got the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which I will get to. So that Nine of Pentacles, right? This is about, you know, very sort of both even though it's Venus in Virgo, this feels like the energy of that Capricorn moon and Mars in Cancer, of being able to make the right decisions that serve you in the long term, that bring about long-term abundance, as well as feeling good in your home. Cancer is often linked into the home, right? And so there's a real sense of nourishment of your 3D existence and your capacity to take the action towards that. And with that Ace of Pentacles, new opportunities, new experiences, new ways of operating in the 3D world through the actions that we take, being able to create from a higher perspective. Now that King of Cups, now I'm really glad that this showed up, because this is the vibe, right? This is where we want to be. So the King of Cups is sitting, like, if you look at those waves are very big by tarot standard. They're the biggest waves in tarot. We've also got this sea creature that this ship might not know what the intentions of that sea creature is. And I always like to refer to, you know, and also the King of Cups is sitting on a stone throne on the ocean and isn't bothered about any of these things going on around it. Essentially being in the eye of the storm, right? Knowing that there's a storm going on around you. And for many of us, that is what's going on around us in our lives, but not getting knocked off our perch, not getting knocked off our throne by these sort of more compulsive emotional responses that we may have, for often very good reason from previous experiences. But we're evolving, we're growing, we're maturing and coming into a place of sovereignty. So that King of Cups is able to take action from any emotion in the most authentic and powerful way. We also happen to have Venus at the bottom of the deck, underneath that King of Cups, which I am here for. Our ability to create from a place of fertility. We're leveling up our emotional body, and that's going on with that Saturn Mercury energy, as well as Vesta of that dedication to the truth deep in the unconscious. Right, so that is the Cancer journey that we're going on. Now let me get up Mars direct in Leo. Okay, so this is on the 17th or 18th of April. It's happening at 4:20 a.m. here in the UK. So predominantly for the Americas, it's going to be on the 17th of April, and the rest of the world the 18th. All the dates, by the way, and the degrees are all in the description box if you want to write them down to kind of let you know that there's an energy shift. I mean, often we feel it. So Mars direct in Leo. Oh, now being ruled by the Sun. And the Sun is over in Aries. Now this is really interesting. So they're in mutual reception. When Mars goes into Cancer in the retrograde, the moon's in Aries. So we had, for the Mars retrograde in Leo, it being ruled by Jupiter and Mercury, very much in alignment with the Sagittarius new moon. And then when Mars retrogrades into Cancer, it's being ruled by the moon, and they're in mutual reception. And then, I'm trying to make this clear, and then when Mars goes direct in Cancer, we've got the mutual reception between Mercury and Jupiter again. And then when it moves into Leo, we've got the mutual reception between Mars and this time the Sun, but still in Aries. So can you see that there's flips here? That's really fascinating. I hadn't quite clocked that. So the Sun is going to be at 28 degrees of Aries. So mutual reception. This essentially means that the rulers of those signs are in each other's realms. I need to rewind. I'm going to leave that there, but I didn't do the oracle cards. Excuse me, everybody. Right, let's do these oracle cards. Glad I didn't get too far into the Leo retrograde. The Leo direct motion. So we have, for the overall theme of Mars going direct in the sign of Cancer, we have the sustainer. And this is a very Cancerian energy, right? Of that, there's a caretaking energy to Cancer, the desire to make sure everyone's all right, to feed everybody, those kind of very maternal energies, because the moon is linked into the moon, not sex specific. In terms of the feminine energy, we all have that. The peacemaker, the upholder, the preserver, the sustainer, the second archetype in the trio of existence, works behind the scenes, tending to the tasks of life. They cultivate gardens, pay bills, keep the meals warm, and the mouths sweetly fed. The sustainer is at peace in the process of life, knowing there is no start or finish to humble yet meaningful tasks. They have a natural inclination to nourish others, to archive, to preserve Earth's resources, to consider environmental impact, to see their role in the divine cycle of life. It is common for the sustainer to become overworked, leading to resentment. Their tasks aren't glamorous, and therefore the sustainer rarely receives the credit or attention the sustainer longs to hold things in place so badly, especially relationships, that they resist necessary change. Take time with this archetype. It is within us all and needs our love. When light, abundant, generous, supportive, reliable. When dark, overworked, resentful, trapped, and tired. Contemplate what truly sustains you. Make a list. Notice how simple yet powerful those things are, and spend some time tending to them. So, getting some really lovely energy from this, as well as what we need to look out for, of where we may then help to really refine this energy even more. The capacity to nurture ourselves, to nourish ourselves, right? To tend to our needs. Those are the themes of the moon, in a way that sustains us and doesn't burn us out, doesn't lead us to resentment. They're sort of the intuitive actions that we take that are about sustaining our existence, and therefore sustaining that of the collective. And as well as obviously nourishing those around us. But we give from your saucer, not from your cup, because then you're always giving from a place of abundance, and then it doesn't lead you into that state of resentment. Think of that, the Nine of Pentacles really knows when to say no, when they know that that's actually not helpful for either party. And that's a really elevated working with the nourishing energy, the maternal energy of taking care, right? Of making sure you're taking care of yourself in the meantime. But I love that energy of it saying this is what's being embedded, is our capacity to take care of ourselves, to sustain ourselves as we walk through this path. And that is so very important, because many of us can struggle with that, right? Can neglect ourselves, can neglect the little things that really build into the bigger picture, because we might not think that they're important. We might be focusing on productivity, right? That can be one flip side to the moon opposition, right? Because oppositions can mean that they're very far away from each other in the sign of Capricorn, and therefore not seeing eye to eye, of that moon wanting to just to do the thing that's going to serve the future. And that Mars energy saying, hey, we've got to have a balance here of making sure that the moments that we step into every day, there is a sense of deep nourishment that we're giving ourselves. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the Panther, because I originally hadn't pulled an animal spirit card for the direct motion, and then I realized after I finished part one that was a little silly, and that we need this. And I pulled the I use the animal spirit deck because that martial energy is very instinctive, right? And the sort of the wildness of Mars. Panther, annihilation of the unnecessary, purging. That's the Vesta energy down in Scorpio. The Panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnate. Instead, it pounces on into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc with the ultimate intention of bringing us towards a more fulfilling lives. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating. But after all, the dust clears. It's easy to see the Panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences and they've made us better people. Trust the Panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. When in balance, brave, productive. When out of balance, self-destructive. To bring into balance, get rid of the unnecessary. So this is the energy we're supposed to be channeling, of releasing everything that we've learned over the retrograde, releasing those things in the actions that we're taking, and knowing that we might get a bit dysregulated because we might be letting go of some really deep-rooted unconscious responses that make, we struggle with change. This is sort of saying embrace the change. This kind of feels like a bit of tower energy, and the Mars rules the tower card. And Cancer is a cardinal energy. It instigates. It's linked into a solstice, which is the changing of the season. So there's a real sense of a massive shift coming in with this. And what I'm feeling also is like pulling down structures around our personal connection to our intuition and our emotional body that cannot connect to the magical reality. Next up, we have a Kali card. This is from the Path of Kali Oracle by Kat Shaw, and love this deck. Really recommend it. And obviously, Kali is, there is this element of destruction within her. Sort of the martial energy. The word is healing. This is Kali of the release. I sit in the void and see my true self. I am healing. Oh, I like that. The void of that Scorpio energy of Vesta, finding the inner truth. Pisces can be a very healing energy to heal that personal, emotional body. We can all feel weighted down in life, and this card is your message that past experiences, society's demands, and unrealistic expectations by yourself and others have twisted, torn, molded, and shaped you into an essence that you can barely distinguish as you. Kali of the release is here to tell you that enough is enough. Assisting you through her message to release and to heal your soul woundings and to truly let loose everything that's holding you back. That's so in alignment with the Panther. When you draw this card, Kali of the release will be working with you to dissolve structures in your life which are familiar, habitual, and safe, yet often not serving your highest good. This is your time to go within and heal yourself, to treat yourself with kindness and compassion, and surround yourself in your own embrace. You are the healing that you need, and now is your time. Take a close look at your life. Who are you really? What beliefs are yours and what are other people? That tying in with that Six of Swords, of what core perspectives are you taking with you? And I talk about in part one, the wounds of the father and the wounds of the mother, the sun and the moon are often linked into those energies. Again, not sex specific, the sort of masculine energy, the feminine energy, the yang and the yin of it all, right? They've conditioned us. Conditioned us in how we take action, our motivation, our drive, our instincts. Do you make choices from your soul, or do you choose what you think you should? Do you make choices from your soul, or do you choose what you think you should? Kali of the release will sit with you as you rid your life of everything that isn't yours. As you feel your soul come apart, as you feel your current truths ripped apart and flung away, as you become vulnerable, bare and naked, as you are torn back to your bones in order to be healed. That's interesting because Capricorn rules the skeleton. And it is in this place where you will have the time to reflect. Who are you really? And you will heal. And as you build yourself up again, ensure that this time your reality is aligned with your inner truth. It is time for you to arise as the true divinity you are. Heal yourself. Treat yourself kindly. Put yourself at the top of the pile. Worship yourself. Have luxurious baths and nourishing food. So apologies, I had to pause for ages, and it's so relevant to what's just come through. So I just had my roof fixed and it had been overdue, since August. And I just find that so appropriate to having support come in to sort of fix the home, to tend to the things. And because they were doing that, I couldn't come back to this recording. So it meant that I was doing like little odd jobs around the house because in case they needed me. And so again, like doing the little things, tending to the little moments around your house, making sure things are nice and tidy. There's little odd jobs where you're just clearing up the mess or whatever it is. Those sort of exactly what the sustainer card is all about. So I thought I'd let you know. I thought I'd bring that in because so often when things happen during a reading, it is linked into what needs to come through in the message. But I've completely forgotten where I got to with Kali of the release. Itoe la disheni madoe shania. Dieni modoe shala itufa la disheni. Disheni amadoe la disheni modofa la. So I'm just rereading it, letting the channeling come out. Ishali diala disheni modofila. I'm just gonna reread the last sentence that I think we were on. And as you build yourself up again, ensure that this time your reality is aligned with your inner truth. Itala, dishania la madoe shala, diania. It is time for you to arise as the true divinity you are. Heal yourself, treat yourself kindly, put yourself at the top of the pile. Again, that's tying into what I was saying, like the Cancerian energy can sort of give itself away to everyone around it and really want to give from your saucer and not from your cup. Worship yourself, have luxurious baths and nourishing food. Release your gloriousness and heal your body, mind and soul in every way because you deserve it. And the message from this card from Kali of the release is, I am here to facilitate your ultimate release. Sit with me in the stillness, with the wind whipping around our faces, and feel your emptiness. Feel your void. Feel your absolute essence. Know that this is truly you. Know yourself and then begin from this place to bring ultimate healing and worship as you build your soul, your true essence into reality. I really love that healing energy, which, as I said, can very much be linked into Pisces. And the worship, that's Vesta, that sense of ritual and devotion and dedication to tending to your inner flame. Itoela dishania, diala utufala, yanama diatatia. So there's the energy for that Cancer direct motion. We're thinking outside of conflict. We're thinking about things that help us thrive rather than survive, getting back to the truth of our equilibrium, right? I think the word truth came up in that little reading just now of the two swords of the moon in Libra. Being able to build and nurture and nourish yourself that support you in the long term, and seeing the world from a different perspective because you're no longer letting your emotions be diminished, right? One of the sort of the Queen of Cups came up in the retrograde motion for the Cancer energy. And I don't always read the sort of more traditional negative connotations of the Queen of Cups, where hypersensitivity, right, overly giving, a bit smothering, a bit suffocating. You think of all those sort of distorted mother instincts that we all have. That King of Cups is there's a solidity to it. There's a sense of sovereignty to it rather than the externalization of that Cancer energy. It's really cultivating and bringing it inward. So we're very mature in our emotional body and how we respond to the world and being able to create from it. Apologies again for having to pause, but I was hearing a cat cry outside. And it's the local stray who we feed. And this morning I was awake at like 4:30 and he was out there again this morning. So I went out and put some food down. It was still dark. And then a fox made off for it. So I'm really glad that he's back and he's got some food. And again, it's that sense of nourishment and taking care. And, I've talked a lot about the individual, but through this process, the capacity to give and nurture those around you is going to just be even stronger because you're sort of because you've tended to yourself, that you're going to find more space to be able to do that. Ituela, dishala, diala, ina. Oh, they like that one. Right, where were we? So, Mars moving into Leo, going direct. What's the vibe? Ituela. So I talked about how we have this interesting correlation that's flipped over. So, Mars retrograde in Leo being ruled by Mercury and Jupiter, because the Sun is in Sagittarius. So mutual reception between Mercury and Jupiter for the retrograde in Leo. Mutual reception between Mars and the Moon for the retrograde in Cancer. The direct motion mutual reception between Mars and the Sun in Aries blows my mind, the synchronicities of astrology every time. And then with this one, we are heading back to the feedback loop between Mars and the Sun, right? So mutual reception there. So first, we got the first card out for that. We have the Two of Wands. I'll get to the tarot in a second. So where was I? So Mars is in Leo and the Sun is in Aries. So very fiery energy kicking in here, right? This sense of what are our motivations and drives through our heart space that are aligned with the vision of us heading into new territory and being the embodiment of our individual experience of Aries. Now, this is... that's not the Sun in Aries. The Three of Wands is the Sun of in Aries. The Sun is exalted in Aries. So then we've got this really powerful imprint of the Sun being at its peak, at its height, all the qualities of the Sun are raised up high that's influencing Mars. So there's a real clarity of vision of how you want to move forward from your own frequency, but it's via the heart with that Leo energy. And at the time of this transit, Mars will be exactly trine Neptune, who by this point will have moved into Aries. Oh my God, big shift. Remember, this is the 18th of April or the 17th if you're in the Americas, and Mercury will be there as well. So we've got this lovely trine again with Mercury and Mars, of our ability to perceive information, of what we're drawn to in terms of information, our perspectives, falling into our instincts very easily. Diana, Neptune in Aries. Oh my God, I can't wait to do that transit series. Right, this is, let me do a little comparison. So Neptune in Pisces, Neptune's very much linked into the film industry, because it's about bringing different realities into your own. And while Neptune was in Pisces, all the Marvel series were the biggest movies, right? Of people from different dimensions, different realities, coming together with magical powers and all sorts of different resources to save the universe, right? Very Piscean, right? The collective, right? A group coming together, and that magic of Pisces and sort of the non-rational energy of like, oh, how is this even possible? Like letting go of the need for that, right? And really, it's just so in a line. Oh, Chinima. Oh, look at all that fire. And so Neptune in Aries, this is the myths around the hero's journey, right? The sort of our personal connection to fire, the spark of spirit being amplified by Neptune, our connection to source. So really in alignment with our higher fire frequency, our capacity to get the downloads, especially because Mercury's conjunct Neptune, the downloads from source, and then activating our journey of the heart. Oh, this is so powerful. Dienima do shatyanima doela dishini. Cut the deck for the final card. And what did I get? The Three of Wands. Oh, look at all that fire, and then the swords. So what else do I want to talk about in regards to this? We also have a lovely trine with the moon in Sagittarius trining the sun. So this is like combining the energy of the alignment of the sun and the moon, Cancer and Leo, into Mars as it then takes action, right, after everything that we've been doing as it moves direct in Cancer, which is that yin energy, which can often be more the observer, right? And Mars is also then right again opposite Pluto. So our instincts, our motivation and drive, reorientated to our rooted power, our universal frequency. That is one of the core energies of what Pluto is trying to do for us. Right, you want to make sure you're not distorted in your power dynamics. You want to sort of give a check to yourself of whether you're being a little bit possessive or obsessive. We will have been working with this over all of these months because of the opposition with Pluto right at the beginning of both of the retrogrades in Leo and Cancer. And this is a time to really make sure you're doubling down on the work that you've done. When these are in balance, as I said, a real harmonization of egalitarian power through the heart. Well. Okay, that's a lot. It's beautiful. I'm so here for it. So the cards, the tarot, we got the 2 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands, the 8 of Swords with Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune. So 2 of Wands is long-term manifestation, but it is a pause card because it's about reflection on the lay of the land, the lay of the new landscape. What's around you? What are your resources? Who are you now? Right? And really cultivating that energy, because you are going to embark on a new journey with that 3 of Wands at the bottom of the deck, right? Which is the Sun in Aries. And so there's a real sense of, with this direct motion, of still taking your time to observe who you are now, observe your instincts, cultivate them, right? Know that you are going to be headed into more action and motivation and drive, but this is about getting right with everything that you've learned. We've got the 4 of Wands. This is about celebrating the journey that you've been on, right? Really appreciating how you are probably not the same person anymore. Oh my goodness, all the interruptions today. So that was the postman, and one of the packages was a present that I've got for my mother for the winter solstice. Which is just that yang action, the Leo action from the heart. Of getting a gift for the mother. Obviously the moon's linked into the mother, Cancer's linked into the mother, and that was beautiful alignment. Right, so 4 of Wands is the acknowledgement of the journey of where you're at, and have a celebration, right? Really celebrate all the little things that you've done, all the little things that you've changed. Realize that you have put in the hard work and there are things to be celebrated about. It's about coming together and an alignment with yourself, with those around you as well, because I link this into the harvest, and all the figures are now celebrating as the harvest has come in, but they had to do the work in order to get there. And this is kind of Source saying, hey, look, it's all worth it. Okay, they're actually putting that 8 of Swords behind this. So the 8 of Swords, this is a Jupiter and Gemini card, and it's interesting, it's come with the Wheel of Fortune, which is the Jupiter card, of being trapped in a cage of our own making, right? That everything is an illusion. And what I find with the trine to Neptune and Mercury, the direct motion in Leo is going to be pulling down so many limiting beliefs. It's going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely wild. And you're going to observe it through your motivation, your drive, and your action. You'll probably find yourself operating in a different way that's more in alignment with your heart. And then you're going to be observing, because it's gone behind, these limitations falling away, these illusions that we have been embodying. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, the acknowledgement that fate is changing, that things are, big changes are happening because of this retrograde. As I said in part 1, Mars retrograde is the least out of all the celestial bodies, right? It's not a regular thing. And so when it does happen, and Mars is so crucial to how we move through the world, that this is showing us that our emotional body, our instincts, our intuition and our consciousness, right, the sun and the moon, are more in alignment with fate the wheel turning upright, right? No longer feeling like we're always at the bottom of the wheel. And the actions that you're taking are part of the momentum of the bigger picture things that are coming towards you in terms of the wheel being upright. And then that 3 of Wands that I talked about, that's so funny that I misread the 2 of Wands. This is, as I said, Sun in Aries. I love this card so much. This figure is standing on the cliff. That represents they have the higher ground, right? They have the higher perspective, but it's Aries, it's the sun in Aries. This one knows that it's doing the best that it can in its own way in any given moment. And their ships are sailing out. They're on a new journey, but they're not trying to control or worry about what's going to happen on that journey, because they know they're going to show up and do the best that they can in every moment. Ituela di shini, atuela di anima. They're moving it between the heart space and the heart chakra. Itinia, which I'm here for. Ituela di shini modufala. Ah, King of Wands underneath it. I love that. I love that. Right, the pure. So we had the King of Cups. Now we've got the King of Wands with the water and the fire. Our passions and our emotions coming together in alignment, but from a place of maturity. Ishati na matufa diatatini ma diatatini mi. And arguably, Mars is also trine the North Node in Pisces and Saturn. Saturn will be conjunct the North Node by degree, as will Venus. That real sense of maturity, that elevation of self. Venus is in her exaltation in Pisces. Oh, I'm here for all of this. The qualities of Venus are raised high. So how we connect, how we love, how we create in the world, coming from that beautiful magical energy of Pisces. Right, let's do these oracle cards. Where are the books? Here we go. Hopefully that will be the last interruption. That's so funny. And you know, it kind of represents the retrograde of like interruptions, disruptions, not having all the answers, things not happening in the way that you think they would, but happening in the right timing of it, right? I put in the ticket to do the roof in August and yeah, it absolutely tipped it down last night, and I kind of joked with the guy who was doing it, saying like, your timing's on point. They had to sweep off all the water off the roof in order to reseal it because there was a leak coming in. But they needed to come when this recording was happening so the message could get through that things will be fixed. You just got to be patient. So I love that we got the Sustainer for Cancer, which is a very Cancerian card. And then for the Leo energy, we get the flame. So we get fire, the spark, the glimmer. In Sanskrit, the word for fire is Agni. The ancient yogis saw this flame at the center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality. When it is lit, we are connect to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. Oh, I'm here for this. I'm taking this message. Ishana, it is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. That's the Neptune trine. Ala dishani moyala, dishani adoela. You know, the integration of the multidimensional sphere of like the sacred and the mundane. And that's what we're here to do. We're not here to ascend and go into a different dimension. We're here to bring source into this 3D world. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around, the energy with this Leo bit is wild. It's said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. Think of this card as a call to reignite that fire, to cup your hands gently around those things you've forgotten and protect the flame, no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. It could be an inner archetype that begs you to light its wick. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman would call to you with the language of the flame. When light, health, mental clarity, good digestion. When dark, excess heat and anger, complete darkness. The archetypal fire is at the beginning of all transformation, purification, and manifestation. Nearly every spiritual lineage honors the flame. And the fact that we got the Phoenix. I mean, these cards have been utterly ridiculous in their alignment. Right, let me try and find this Phoenix energy. Oh, it's got a very special symbol at the top of it. It's one of the although you would link it with fire, you'd think. What does she call these? Sorry, this is from also another Kim Krans deck. Let me get it. Yeah, sorry, I pulled these cards just before I came to sit down. This Spirit. It's always a Spirit card. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Where are we? Dishimi. Diala. There we go. Ha! Okay, let's get into it. What a beautiful card. This deck is just so evocative. Freedom from suffering and past karma. Reincarnation. The phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice, hello Mars, and dedication. The essence of the phoenix is with us when we realize we have been suffering too long and something must change. We must take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. That's tying in the whole sun and moon, Cancer, Leo energy together. At that very moment, the spark of the phoenix is lit, and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and dead weight fall into the ashes, and a lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smoulder, the phoenix lifts our spirits up and up, and we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely. It's a sign the fire of transformation is upon your wings. The phoenix and the first chakra, so this is the root chakra, right? That sense of fear, the fear mindset, the instability. It's where we need our, that sort of our deep mammalian side to feel comfortable and safe, right? At our root, right? Of feeling grounded, feeling present, feeling safe. The ancient yogis believe that our heaviest karmas reside in the first chakra. This earthen center is also called the Muladhara, or our root. The ascent of the phoenix begins here, and as the entanglement of karmas is slowly burned, it arises from the ashes towards the navel center. Again and again, it makes the journey from first to third chakra, purifying our essence, freeing us from the past. And the third chakra is the solar plexus, and that's our will and how we move out in the world, which couldn't be more Mars. As well as that fear that the root can bring in, where we then go in defensive mode or attack mode, rather than building, right? I talk about that in the first episode in part 1 of how Mars for me is the master builder. It's how we take action and create in the world and build through the action itself. Right, Kali of purification. So we had the release with Cancer, now the purification. This is interesting with that Phoenix card. Are we in alignment? Here we go. Clearing. As I let go, I am cleansed and purified. Kali of purification is walking beside you at this moment to alert you to the fact that now is the time to be cleansed and reborn. Look into the mirror and see your true self. Whereas this one was about who are you? This one was all about who on earth are you beyond the conditioning. Pulling this card is the indication that it's time for you to release the old patterns, old woundings, and old comfortable ways of being. Kali of purification loves this act and is thrilled to assist you as she holds her palms up in complete submission to the act of purification, knowing how much you will become empowered from this. What do you need to release in order to feel the waters of baptism cleanse you? Negative stress, fear, toxicity, harmful food, unpleasant people, guilt, shame, memories, habits, your work, anger, regret, repetitive, damaging situations. Look closely at your life at the end of this current phase. Look really closely. What is not working for you anymore? Listen to your soul. It is crying out for you to take note and act. But fear has been stopping you until now. You are moving into the liberating waters of simplification and streamlining your thoughts, behaviors, actions, circumstances, peer group, and even material assets. For when you clear and cleanse yourself, you are free. However, this can be difficult and even cause upset, as your ego will want to cling desperately onto its familiar destructive patterns. That's the opposition with Pluto that is serving you. When that comes up, this is what you know you need to release. But be determined in the knowledge that releasing the old will make way for the new. Also, Leo is fixed, can be very stubborn. I say that as most of my chart is fixed. And it's It's very loyal, but it can struggle to change its mind and let go of certain things. So when we have a retrograde in fixed signs, it is really recalibrating those fixed programmings. Your awakening happens inside of your experiences, and it is when you look within these experiences and notice the ones that don't nourish you that you will find emancipation. Through releasing them with love, this is the heart of embodied awakening. Leo rules the heart. Kali of purification is here to take your hand as you embark upon your journey of deep soul cleansing, which you can feel like your world is being torn open. She will give you the strength during this time to watch joyfully as you feel the elation and bliss that will follow your purification. I am your mirror. I will show you what needs to be cleared, bringing new life to your stagnant waters. Watch my waist undulate like the tides, encircled with my belt of severed arms, as I cleanse your egotistical thoughts lurking in the deep waters and guide you to a state of renewed purity. Release, be cleansed, be reborn, be free. Now that is bringing a lot of the energy of Cancer and Leo together, right? That sense of the unintegrated Leos can be very egotistical. With that sense of renewal in your water body that's allowing your instincts to come through and be free. Right, we are nearly, where are those cards? Here they are. We are nearly coming to a close. So we have an overall message here for the overall retrograde, right? What is the bigger intention behind it? And what does it want to bring us? Right. First up, we're going to do the one that looks a little scary, which is Apocalypse. Apocalypsis. Removing the veil of deception. Apocalypsis indicates a particularly painful time, one that unfolds when two disparate dynamics occur simultaneously, pulling the psyche in seemingly opposite directions. The first is the lifting of the veil. This means truths that have been kept in the dark are revealed, seen and unearthed. No matter how revealing it is to the witness... no matter how... sorry about that. I'm blaming it on Mercury being retrograde. No matter how revealing it is to witness them come into the light, an element of despair and grief follows. The second dynamic is the regeneration that comes from the wreckage of the revealed truth. The old narratives break and a new story forms. Apocalypsis energy is similar to a forest fire's devastation for the sake of regeneration. The veil lifts and we see who and what has been hiding. From the nakedness of truth, a child is born. Have faith in the process. Hold on to your center. That is the only way. That's lovely. That's tying in. I talked about in part one, like the son linking into the father and the wounds of the masculine, particularly the paternal energy. Again, not sex specific. We have it all within us. But those kind of core themes that do repeat, and certainly of the old traditional ways. And then the moon of the mother and the maternal, again, not sex specific, of the inner child, right? And how, because of this alignment with Leo and Cancer, it really is pulling up a lot of those wounds for us to move through. You know, I don't, my memory dumps so quickly that I have a vague energy around what the cards are, but I very rarely remember the details of what is said in them. So that's really beautiful that that's kind of tied in the blessing and the struggle of a retrograde, right? But there's so much power in being the observer of these things. You know, we think of Mars, it does rule the tower in the tarot, and that is about pulling structures down that do not serve you and leaving your foundation strong to be reborn again with that, where is it? Where's the phoenix? With that phoenix energy, I mean, woof. Right, the unknown becomes the known and guides the way. Wait, what's this one? No, I thought that was, there's another card that's very similar to that this book is saying is linked into it. Anyway, all kinds of things will be revealed during a time of apocalypsis. From big global lies to little white ones that lace the bedroom sheets. Brace yourself for the horse of truth to storm your every field. Oof! Oof, 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 oof. Right, the thread. Ishali dianima duela dishani moto fiela dienia dashani moela doto fana dina dufania. The path, the vein, the circuit. Iani moyaniana. Life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously and circuitously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in the body. Mars rules the blood. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came into this world to do. Though this happens in the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Mars and Uranus are the most important independent planets. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. Hello, Leo. The circuit of meaning within the chaos. Recall a moment in your life when you felt truly alive, fully alive. The thread is waiting for you and the details of that memory. Ishani. You may think you have to find the thread and pull it. Imagine, though, that it's already tied around you, waiting for you to follow it home. Hello, Cancer. I'm so enjoying the frequency of this reading. Final card from the Kim Krans Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. All the decks in the description box, by the way, if any of them take your fancy. The starborn, the divine child, the star child, the destined. An elusive yet radiant aspect of the self. The starborn archetype points to the cosmic spark of light that arrives with each being at birth. The moment the newborn crowns, the royal stars above, are said to constellate in a unique shape that maps our path in the world. The idea of destiny is controversial, yet the starborn naturally feels a sense of destination and purpose, aiming itself towards a future that is beyond the mundane. Ooh, when this card appears, travel back to your birth story for clues and insight. If you want a private reading on your natal chart, hello. What did you desire when you were young? Practice seeing your life from a mythic point of view rather than as a series of logistics. Read the story of the three fates and envision yourself born under the stars with a unique destiny. Love this. So we're reconnecting back to our star origins. And this retrograde is helping clear out any blockages around the motivation, drive, and action that we have. I cut the deck and got the Three of Swords in reverse. And Temperance in reverse. And Temperance is all about pause to refine ourselves in order to bring our angelic frequency into the 3D. So that refinement process, we've done a huge stage of it. And then we have the Fool, right? Embarking on a new journey to looking at life, moving through the world from our heart space, right? Five of Pentacles in reverse, right? Curious, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. Every experience in life, every action that we take is leading to this sense of awe of existence. And finally, the lovers, right? This sense of falling in love with life again, the union of self, the masculine, feminine, and spirit, right? Really just enjoying the vibe. Ishini, diala, dofanimo, toela, dianimo, toela. Full blown alignment. Ituini. Right, final card, and then I'm going to leave you all there. I will be doing an all 12 signs video series as well. Dianamo toela di shini. The whale. Ooh, love whale song. If anybody knows of any video on YouTube or any album that has legitimate whale song on it, not some electronically produced vibe, please put it in the comments. Honestly, it's one of the most healing sounds and it's so hard to find. Desire to delve deeper, profound peace, ancient wisdom. Whew. The whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Get in the work that we're doing in Cancer. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain. That's our movement through Leo out in the world. Itiala, our heart is vibrant and strong. That allows us to go into places that we may have avoided. Itiala, and taking on challenges that we may have hidden from because of that Three of Swords being in the upright. Ituela, dishinia. These experiences have enriched them, giving them stability, strength, hello the Leo card, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost and trust them to be our beacon in the darkest hour. Calm, steady, deeply compassionate. To bring into balance regular self-care, right? So putting in the practices of self-care, following your instincts, trusting your heart, letting this process unfold. Oh my goodness, what a reading. Take time, allow the pause, observe, watch your instincts and your motivation and your drive. Try and operate from a heart space. Try and reveal what wounds may be in your emotional body around the heart. Tend to yourself, give from your saucer, not from your cup. Be good to yourselves, be good to those around you. Safe travels and be well until we meet again.